Hi travelers, sorry about yesterday's video. Um, I don't know what happened and why the audio was so jacked, but it really was. And I came back and I could hear it fine through my system, but many of you have continued to post up and say, you know what, I can't hear it. It's really bad. And so I want to apologize for that. So I'm going to do another reading today, but this time, instead of doing an open reading, we're going to do an astrology event because we do have Mercury retrograding in a few days. And y'all, those of you who've been with me for a while know Mercury always hit me some kind of way. So, right, because my sun is ruled by Mercury and my moon is ruled by Mercury. And so typically it always manifests for me in the form of some kind of communications issue. And so I'm not doing a Valentine's Day reading because I can guarantee you 99.9% of everybody on here who does readings is doing a damn Valentine's Day reading. And it's not that I'm not sentimental and I don't want to give you guys any information on your love life, but we just shall see what the cards have to say based upon what the planetary configurations are. And that's one of the things that I have put together for you website members. We're going to be doing a Zoom presentation in astrology called Astrology Basics. I've given you guys a whole lot of ebooks and information, but I kind of left you floundering in terms of not knowing exactly what to do. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do with this. And again, I will be sending out a newsletter and I will be posting the link. I will be sending out a newsletter on the date of that, and then I will post the link to the Zoom meeting in your account message board, okay? And so just kind of hang tight with me on that. I still got to clean it up a little bit and whatnot. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the cards that I used yesterday, which are the Lost Tarot of Nostradamus. I really like these cards a lot. And then we'll be wrapping the reading up with an oracle card, and we'll be using the Golden Nostradamus oracle cards, okay? We may clarify with the La Vida Sibila, depending on what's happening in the cards, what the story is saying. And so I've already done some shuffling. Now, I'm going to preface this again like I did yesterday. These cards are new to me, and I haven't really had the opportunity to bond as much as I'd like with the cards. So I'm going to be reading you the interpretations and giving you the keywords, but I'll also be giving you my intuitive information as well that comes to me. And just in case the person didn't hear me yesterday, because I did put in the description box, congratulations to Susie K for winning the Casanova deck. All right. And I'm going to be putting that. Yeah. And probably more than likely, I have not heard, you did not hear me because I have not heard from you. So make sure that you send me your address so that I can get your cards to you. Okay. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing around and we will get started with the reading. So hang on. Okay, so I am back. Now, I was saying to you guys yesterday, even though this deck has the same number of cards as the regular tarot, for some reason the deck seems to be a lot thicker. And I don't know if it's the cardstock that they used or what, but it's really a rather large deck. So I have to break it down into smaller bits just so I can handle it. It's really not a problem. They're just a lot larger than I was. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm going to explain to you the suits because, as I always let you know, every deck has its own language. And this deck is comprised of the suit of Suns, which is the suit of Wands, the suit of Moons, which is the suit of Cups, the suit of Stars, which is the Swords, and then there is the suit of Spheres, which relates to the coins. as we go through the reading, I will, tell you what the correlation is. But again, this deck has its own language, and so the meanings are going to be different. All right. So let me get one more. If I can't even do it. Let me get one more. Well, that didn't go well. Rifle on these. I mean, that's a thick deck. It really is a lot thicker than. Oh wow. The Fortitude card has come out, otherwise known as the Strength. So these are our major arcanas, and they are numbered with the Roman numerals, and they have the little banner down at the bottom. So that's interesting. The Strength card has come out. Huh. Okay, there we go. Oh, wow. The Two of Stars, which is the Two of Swords. That's interesting because that card came out. These two cards came out yesterday. They were the Two of Stars, and then it ended in the Fortitude. Was the last card down. So let's just see. It could be a repeat, kind of, sort of, telling it in a different way of the story that you didn't get to hear yesterday. Indeed. There's the Judgment. The Ace of Sons, which is the Ace of Wands. This is so funny because, let me just get the rest of the cards down. Again, the Temperance. So this looks as though it's telling me the same story. The Ace of Moons, which is the Ace of Cups. The Chariot. I can't remember if that card came out yesterday or not. The Ace of Swords, or the Ace of Stars. So I have three aces here in this weird configuration of an upside down triangle. And then I have the Eight of Sons, or the Eight of Wands. Ceres and Proserpina. For those of you who follow me with the astrology asteroid, those names should be familiar to you. The signatures are here. What is under the deck? The Three of Moons. Isn't that interesting? If I'm not mistaken, that card came out too. Now, we also have a new moon in Pisces coming up. I think that's on the 28th. I'm not seeing, quote unquote, a depiction of the new moon, but definitely there's moon energy here. So this is either going to be our advice card or the situation as it stands now. Now, I have 4 major arcana cards, 2 suns or 2 wands cards, 2 stars or 2 sun cards. Okay. And then 1 moon card in the actual reading itself. The 3 aces, go into my thing because I'm not exactly sure really. Okay. What the there it is. See, just like that, my phone started acting funny. So, and I don't mean funny like ha funny. Um, 3 aces. Well, it says extreme luck and or pregnancy. I don't know about that. I do have this little cherub here, this little angel. That's one of the meanings. Let me get for you the other meaning. Three aces appearing in a reading tells of a legal action about a financial matter. Well, here's a judgment. And then we have the representation of Libra here, which also rules justice, the scales of justice. It's not the justice card, but typically the sign of Libra is known as the house of contracts or the house of legalities. This odd symbol of the fortitude, that of the cow, that is the symbol of Wall Street or finances. Back in ancient times, your wealth was a lot of times counted in the number of cattle that you had. Taurus, the sign of Taurus. Cattle were also movable and transferable. So this can equate to personal properties, your movable possessions. I have this 2 2s here. This is a 2, and the judgment is a 20, which is also a 2. And so 2s represent being at a crossroads. It represents choices, options, dualities, but it can also represent oppositions, someone being opposed against you, or a situation putting you in opposition of what it is you're trying to do or what it is you're trying to accomplish. This could also be the opposition within yourself. Should I or shouldn't I? But 2s also speak to partnership. Okay. So whether this is a business partnership, romantic partnership, a friendship, familial, I'm not exactly sure at the moment. I'm not going to lie to you about that. Um, Now I'm not exactly sure if this is true or not, but to me, that looks like the Wheel of Fortune. I don't know what the Wheel of Fortune looks like in this deck, but that's one of the things you always see, the wheel, right? And to me, that card is saying, whatever the truth of this situation is, it will change the outcome for you, right? Or it will change the circumstances surrounding it. And I don't necessarily think this is based upon faith, but based upon the idea that there's something that you do. And the reason why I say that is because the meaning of the Temperance card is the idea about, what do you call it? Balancing out your emotions, maybe even taking a rest if you need to, so that you can move forward here, this Chariot card, so that you can move forward with whatever it is you're doing. But sometimes the best way to handle an opposition is to do nothing, is to wait. And while you are waiting to formulate new plans, ideas, conclusions, yada, yada, right? Because eventually the wheel will turn. Well, since I'm not exactly sure what this is, and I do feel that it is something major based upon the number of major arcana cards that we have here, I'm going to go directly to the book. I know that some of you don't like it when I do this, but I really don't care because I want to give it to you exactly as it is, and then we go from there. Now, this card signifies the eagerness to attack the problem and indicates a strong resource of strength across the board. But it also says you may also be required to tame the forces within you that seek to meet every opposition in a combative way. Remember, that's what I was saying about this card. Strength held in check remains a reserve which you can tap into. It does not require you to attack every problem at full stretch. Sometimes you may need to turn to a powerful friend or guide to help usher in the moment of truth, which must be faced without fear. That card. The key words are strength, force, courage, power, ability, authority, and commanding presence. Oh, that's interesting. I love these cards. I have to create a container for them to place so that I can, I sleep with them under my pillow. That's how I bond with my cards. Ah. This card represents a search for balanced outcome, which is reflected in the astrological influence of Libra, the scales. The magical association is therefore often with the figure of blind justice, who, unable to see, is therefore impartial. Based upon the timing in which Nostradamus lived, religion ruled everything. So the Bible kind of dictated the way people thought. So it says that it may relate to the biblical King Solomon, whose dispensation of justice was so famous that it became a byword. Two women, one old and one young, represent the two faces of justice. But here is the meaning. It is about seeking balance and harmony of reconciling two, sometimes opposing forces that may otherwise pull you in two directions at once. You may need to struggle to find the fulcrum of harmony, but the resulting effort rewards you with a greater uncertainty. It says that you may be able to draw support from a stable source. So the key words are balance, harmony, friendship, and attachment. But here is the Judgment card. So obviously there's something that you are either really trying to get your reserves in so that you can come to the right decision, because that's what justice is. Justice is about making decisions based upon, quote unquote, uh, all of the objective facts and circumstances that you can gather. Okay, maybe some of you have been fighting. I don't know. Maybe some of you are really focused on attacking this issue, but you may be finding that that's kind of slowing you down, which sometimes can happen. We get in our own way. So the Judgment, the number 20 card. In a reading, this card suggests the need for change, and just how radical will depend on the nature of the issue and the surrounding circumstances. It can be a simple change of approach to the way you view a situation, or a far more earth-shattering call to change the direction of your entire life. This card will often appear at a time when you are at a crossroads in your life and need to make the appropriate decision as to which path to take based upon your own judgment. Isn't that what I was just saying about the opposition of two? and the idea of judgment. The key word is change, renewal, judgment, self-assessment, strong opinions, taking things into account, outcome, promotion, decision, and restoration. This is interesting because it says the author's interpretation of this card refers to a dangerous world in which wild beasts roam, while at the center, the Pope stands calm and strong in an attitude of protection and stern judgment. Now, you have to look back at, as I say, this deck, and I'll talk to you about this after I'm done. Just let me finish the reading. Let's go to the Ace of Sons. These three aces here are quite powerful. It is the Wands card. This suggests go forward. It suggests a go forward state in which you almost cannot fail in whatever you are attempting. Well, listen, it also represents birth, both of an idea and an actual child. Remember those three aces? It encourages you to take action, to move forward with confidence. But I don't know about that because of this. And I'm about to read this to you in a moment. The keywords are birth, beginning, creativity, supremacy, invention, and enterprise. The Temperance. Number 14, is it? Yes. 14. Again, that same message. It is about moderating your behavior, living your life temperately, balancing the past and future streams of activity, and learning to approach problems with due care and attention rather than rushing in and meeting every challenge aggressively. It points to the wisdom of keeping things moving and of allowing a good exchange of ideas and feelings in any situation, whether work or love related. But this should not be confused with the need to be in perpetual motion, to act impulsively. Rather, it shows that sometimes it is best to do nothing, to allow the problem to work itself out. The key words are balance, patience, calmness, moderation, frugality, adaptability, serenity, harmony, self-control, and the mingling of the past and the future. But here with this Ace of Moons, this card is about the spirituality and emotional foundation because it is indicative of home life, family, fertility, and generosity of spirit. This is also a card of good omens, suggesting that any new enterprise will flourish. If this represents a person, this person is a font of wisdom, good spirit, and love. The keywords are home, family, feast, nourishment, good cheer, good news, fertility, transcendence, and love. And what is transcendence? It really means transcending a situation. This Chariot card, it's a 7. Hold on one second because I just saw something. Yeah. Remember that wheel that I was talking to you about? Yeah, okay. The essential meaning of this card has always been about movement, a journey, or a struggle to gain momentum. It requires the harnessing of both the will and the emotions, without which all actions may be impulsive and dangerous. So basically what I'm getting is that whatever this situation is referring to, there's been a bit of impulsivity, and there's a bit of perhaps recklessness, or this idea or this drive to just move it forward. It says often this card will appear when the issue is to do with fame and fortune. The search for which has overturned many a man or woman. However, if balance and forethought are brought into play, the outcome will be well aspected. The key words are movement, journey, and the need for emotional control. So I'm wondering now if this Three of Moon is not the trigger for this situation. Let's look at the Ace of Stars. I find this card to be a really uh, I lost my train of thought. The widely accepted meaning for this card is that which cuts away. Again, it has associations with justice and is sometimes seen as a fiery angelic sword, Michael. The most important aspect of this card is the strength that it represents. Such power can overwhelm those who tap into it. This card favors an intellectual response rather than an emotional one. And in most instances, it indicates the need to strip away worn out ideas and to reveal the truth at the heart of the matter. So this whole idea keeps coming across of trying to balance out the emotions. So maybe someone's going through something that's very, very emotional for them. And that, in a sense, is kind of clouding your judgment. And maybe it's something that you've been continuing to do over and over and over again, but you can't seem to break that particular cycle, right? And sometimes that can represent that energy of Mercury, because Mercury can be all about that inner conversation that we have with ourselves based upon those outside stimuli, right? And that inner dialogue that we continue to have with ourselves. And so there are several references to the idea of balancing your strength, balancing your energy, taking care of yourself, gaining control over your emotions, taking it slow and steady, uh, using your own advice and wisdom or your decision. Obviously, there's a choice that's coming up for you. I just cannot at the moment get to the heart of what that is. Here are the key words: intellect, triumph, aggression, passion, overwhelming power, cutting to the heart of the issue, and it also speaks to initiating ideas and plans. Now here's this Eight of Sons, which in effect is like the Eight of Wands, only I don't know exactly what he means by this. After the struggle comes the respite, the satisfaction of a job well done, time to rest and reflect. Despite its mercurial associations, meaning being associated with Mercury, this card has always had a sense of going to the countryside for refreshment. Some people suggest that this is a card of falling in love, and this works well with the idea of taking time out to rest and review the direction of life. At such times, we may have an opportunity to notice the person who is special to us. Either way, events may move quickly, and the completion of contracts is implied, perhaps in the purchase of a house. So the keywords are appreciation, completion, luck, rapid developments. Now listen, here's a very old interpretation: agricultural events, recreation, festivities, and progress. So here we're talking about a card of friendship and harmony. Strength in doing nothing and things progressing rapidly. I don't know if maybe there's an underpinning of a health issue here for someone out there. Let's take a look at this Three of Moons and see if perhaps it will kind of get to what we're trying to determine is the heart of the matter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you are a creative person, this is your card as it celebrates your success, supports your vision, and inspires you to even greater heights. Now, one of these cards said it goes back to someone who's is seeking fame and fortune, so I don't know. It encourages pleasure, enjoyment, and mirth, and if you have been ill, points the way to recovery and healing. That's all it says. Okay. The keywords are celebration, success, renown, fruitfulness, recovery, relief, healing, perfection, and again that word pregnancy comes up. Here is what the stark imagery of this angel blowing a great trumpet over the world and holding a pen made from a bird's feather. Oh wow, that's beautiful. It is about the power that creativity held for people in Nostradamus' time. Words could be used like weapons. They could both inspire and seduce. Music could celebrate the glory of creation, but dancing was considered lascivious. It also talks of how the work of great artists could also depict both the glories of heaven and the terrors of hell. And underneath is the completed world. And I think that's an interesting image because it looks like the Holy Grail or the Ace of Cups. See that? The card is about triumph over adversities, trials, tests, problems. It is the card of success, of coming home, and of completion. Whether your journey has been of one life-changing complexity or a more simple request concerning an everyday issue, this card tells you that you have completed the long journey and that the outcome is good. More than that, it implies that you are a complete person, that you have balanced the conflicts that surround us everywhere and brought your journey to a harmonious conclusion, a place from which you may review everything that has happened to you and catch a glimpse of the road before you. For such a person, the way is clear, and others will follow you when they perceive your success. Your health is good, your perception sharpened to a point of intensity. You are the center around which everything else revolves. The world, completion, reward, the universal truth, and time. Wow, that is interesting. I'm not exactly sure what the heart of the matter is. So I'm going to take a look at this Ace of Swords here. Ceres and Proserpina. So this might be a child support or a child custody issue, legal issue. This could be about the issue of division of property and or space. It could be about the issue of a male in this having played some tricks. It could be about the idea of coming to some kind of understanding where before maybe you like kind of went on strike, stopped doing whatever it was you were supposed to do. Maybe this again could be through a health issue. But now that you have, in a sense, figured out the balance, because the story of Ceres and Proserpina can be that idea of sharing space, sharing I would even say it could be sharing the sharing of duties, because Proserpina eventually became a queen. So this could be a mother-daughter issue as well. But Ceres is the mother of Proserpina. Let's see. Whatever this thing is, it really is saying that whatever the, I don't know, doubt, maybe confusion, maybe aggressive manner in which you're pursuing this is no longer relevant, okay? Because the truth of the matter is you have already completed this journey. And maybe if you have been a bit too emotional or quote unquote a bit too attached to it or the outcome, if you can kind of step back and look at it from an objective standpoint, you might find in the totality of events that all of the past actions that you've done have mingled with the future, and it's gotten you actually someplace that maybe you didn't even realize you've arrived at. There's the reckless card, the carefree card. It's come up reversed. The Costanza card, which is in a sense somewhat like the it is the perseverance, like the strength card, and the Pensiero reversed. Well, isn't that interesting? Okay, so let me let me give you these cards, and it's kind of funny because, and he somewhat has an association with somebody who might have something to do with well, let me just read, okay? So wands, cups, and diamonds. So we have the reversed carefree card. This is about someone who has realized the consequences of their actions and is working towards improving their behavior. It does indicate someone who can be relied upon, and generally it can indicate thoroughness and attention to detail. It is a very good omen as a stroke of luck that needs to be seized upon as soon as possible. It will come in the form of a fleeting opportunity, like that wheel, that can easily be overlooked, this opportunity. It is sometimes connected to speculation, risky investments, and gambling, but not always. The second meaning is the connection to the air element and the depiction of the butterfly. In this respect, it is akin to the air element in astrology, but more specifically, it relates to electronics, technology, scientific development, emails, websites, social media, the internet, and anything belonging to the virtual world and the World Wide Web. Well, guess what kind of rules those two things? Mercury and Uranus. Now, sometimes if this is a health reading, it can be connected with learning disabilities, short attention spans, ADD, ADHD, bipolar disorder, but can also sometimes point to the addiction of television and or video games. But basically, when this card shows up reversed, it indicates opportunity, thoroughness, the internet, and virtual realities. So to me, this is speaking to some kind of creative venture that maybe you've been struggling with. I'm not exactly sure. This kind of says that, yeah, in a way, you're on your path. Everything is clear for you now. Um, maybe now there's nothing more left for you to do. This card represents an earned success, as nothing will be handed out freely. Difficulties will be overcome only by an active participation and involvement in changing one's destiny. That's where that wheel comes from. That's what that card was trying to tell me, and I couldn't figure it out. Okay? I couldn't figure it out. It says that you must muster your strength and keep going, for in doing so, success will be achieved, no matter if this is love, business, or personal relationship. It guarantees a positive outcome for your efforts and also gives hope. It can also indicate the ultimate attainment of wealth after hard work. In love, it heralds success and a life full of support, harmony, and affection from those we love. It can also indicate a large family. The neutral meaning of this card, sometimes either for better or for worse, can indicate a long time frame in terms of resolution. And I think that's kind of what this was up here, especially going this way. It refers to situations that have been going on for a long time and that have not changed or been resolved. It can indicate a long period of waiting or delay. But it can also describe a person who is able to persevere in the face of adversity to achieve the results. This person is patient, has reached a degree of inner peace and confidence, and has great self-discipline and self-control. Sometimes it can also indicate your hometown, one's home country, or local surroundings, and that future occurrences indicated by this will take place in your town of residence. If this is a health issue, it indicates good health, glow, a slow but sure recovery, and the skeletal system. But here's this reverse pensiero. And T is a 6. And 6s will talk about the idea of balance. Well, now, if this situation involves a person, this is it confirms your intentions that somebody is plotting to cause you harm or to deceive. It is the card of intelligence put to evil ends and to cunning and malice. But it can also describe serious doubts, indecision, or a person with a contorted mind. It describes someone suffering from great inner turmoil who cannot think straight. Basically, it can describe someone imprisoned by a cloud of negative thought forms, usually of their own making. It can also indicate a wrong attitude, a wrong way of thinking, or of being misguided. This is a card of coming to wrong conclusions about something or someone, but it also indicates a mistake in an evaluation or calculation. Financially, it can point to dissatisfaction, blocks to the arrival of abundance, grave mistakes, and unemployment. This is a card reversed of illusory dreams, false hopes, paranoia, and conspiracy theories. The card of delusions, illusions, and folly, generated by a disorganized mind. In love, it can represent unrealistic expectations, unfulfilled passion, unrequited love, or worse, it indicates bad intentions towards you or vice versa. Usually, it can mean that you or the partner wants to be unfaithful or is scheming to hurt the other. But basically, the card is just that of the subconscious mind and anything that operates below the level of ordinary waking consciousness. And I think what these cards are telling me is that basically whatever you've been doing, right? It's time for you to release that now. There's an opportunity for you to get rid of that now. Some of you may be stubbornly trying to hang on, or maybe you still don't see the clarity of it. But this is really about the idea of recognizing that perhaps you've gone as far as you can go in this situation, and that if you will only release whatever it is, this is sometimes the idea that, you know, you've been working on something for so long, you can become fixated on it, right? And then you don't necessarily you don't recognize suddenly either how that fixation has either affected you, or you've just been blindly kind of continuing on, and you don't realize everything that you've already done, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull one Golden Nostradamus Tarot card. It's quite interesting to me that it's the same kind of theme in the card, this idea of either being too focused, but also at the same time being very doubtful. You know what I mean? Being aggressive, but also being doubtful. I don't know if that, you know what I mean? Maybe you are being aggressive, or someone's being aggressive with you because they have fear and doubt. You know what I mean? Maybe that is the reaction that they have because they don't know any other way to react. A lot of times when people are intimidated or fearful, they will lash out in a very aggressive manner. You know what I'm saying? Either way, I think whatever this situation is, and particularly what I'm picking up the most, is this idea that has something to do with either work or some kind of creative project that you've been focused on. You've been doing it, and maybe you've had some people that you couldn't trust, or some people who have been kind of doing or saying things to you, right, that have been keeping you off balanced. Well, the card says that if you just kind of gain control over whatever it is you're feeling, whatever your subconscious is trying to tell you, that inner dialogue, you're going to be okay. But you just have to determine that whatever doubts or fear that your own ego is bringing up, that shit just ain't true. That's for one. Okay. And that two, maybe somebody don't want to see you succeed. So if that's the case, why are you still hanging around them? Huh? All right. Here you go. You can either jump on my bandwagon or you can get left behind. Number 25. Now let's see what this card has to say. It's odd because the fish are swimming in different directions. Ain't that funny? Oh, wow. The fish. Once you have let gossip fly, these tales can never again belie. Silence will bring counsel and will not expose you to the attacks of others. Stop often and think, stand still and reflect quietly. It will lead to the discovery of the right path to be taken. That's what this whole thing has been about. Some of you are really kind of questioning what's next for me? What's next? And I think some of you are fearful to even take that step. Well, the last thing I was going to say about these cards, I don't even remember, but maybe I'll write an article about it. Okay, so I hope those messages helped for you. Happy Valentine's Day. And how this, let me back up, how this fits into the Mercury retrograde. No matter what planet is in retrograde, whatever that planet represents, okay, if Mercury is the planet of communication and thoughts and ideas, then you need to stop the read portion, rethink, revise, rework, redo. Doesn't matter what planet it is. The sign in which it is retrograding is going to give you some kind of idea that maybe this could be, it's in the sign of Pisces. Well, sometimes Pisces can bring up hidden enemies, right? So this could be, you might discover that there's somebody who's actually been wishing you ill all along. But it also represents the subconscious. So this could be that idea that whatever self-talk or negative self-talk, doubt, fear, whatever the thing is that is coming up at this time for you, take this time out, stop, reset that, rework it, revise it, review it, okay? And then you can continue forward. I do feel that whatever this thing is, that you are on the right path. I don't know about fame and fortune, but you are on the right path eventually. And if you will stop and review, yeah, you may see that whatever it is that you've been going over and over in your mind, you need to strip that away. And it's time to drop that away now. I do want to read that Ace of Stars one more time, what it says, because I think it's quite, it speaks to intellectual responses rather than emotional ones. It indicates the need to strip away worn out ideas and to reveal the truth at the heart of the matter. This may not be anybody, having bad intentions about you. It could just be you thinking that. So, until next time, happy Valentine's Day and namaste.